The Breakfast Club came out in 1985, and somehow it keeps finding new generations of teenagers willing to argue about which character they would have been. A Saturday detention in a fictional Illinois high school turned 5 young actors into the face of a decade, and what happened to all of them after the library doors closed is its own kind of story. Let's get into it. Number 1. Molly Ringwald as Claire Standish. The popular girl whose pink blouse and diamond earring were supposed to mean she had it all figured out, even though she clearly didn't. Molly was already a known commodity by the time this movie filmed in 1984, fresh off 16 Candles, which John Hughes had written specifically for her after seeing her headshot. She was 16 during production, the only principal cast member actually close to high school age. Today, she's 58. After the John Hughes run came a deliberate pivot away from teen films, including a move to Paris for French language projects and full fluency in the language. She married writer Valérie Lamanière in 1999 and divorced in 2002, then married Greek-American writer Panyo Giannopoulos in 2007, and the two of them have 3 children together. In 2018, she wrote a viral essay for The New Yorker re-examining the problematic elements of her teen films, and it became a real cultural moment. In 2026, she premiered the drama Run Amok at Sundance, has a romantic comedy called One Night Only on the Way, and is joining the cast of the 4th and final season of Yellow Jackets on Showtime. She also walked the runway at New York Fashion Week in 2024 for designer Batsheva, because she apparently just keeps adding things to the resume. Number 2. Judd Nelson as John Bender. The criminal, the loudmouth, the one with the flannel and the holes in his gloves who somehow ended up becoming the emotional center of the entire movie. Judd was 24 during filming, the oldest of the 5 students by a small margin, and he's 66 today. He came into the role with a Stella Adler Conservatory background and a philosophy degree from Haverford College, which is not exactly the resume you'd guess from watching Bender flick a cigarette at a teacher. The same year Breakfast Club hit theaters, he co-starred in St. Elmo's Fire, cementing his place in the so-called Brat Pack alongside several of his Breakfast Club castmates. His personal life is essentially a vault. He's never married, doesn't use social media, and has openly said he has no interest in posting photos of his dinner. He continues to act steadily in independent films and television, though he deliberately stays out of the Hollywood spotlight. He was spotted in Los Angeles in April 2026, riding a motorcycle with a scruffy gray beard, looking nothing like the heartthrob audiences remember, which is exactly the kind of privacy he seems to have built for himself on purpose. Number 3. Emilio Estevez as Andrew Clark. The wrestler, the jock, the kid whose dad's approval was the entire reason he taped some smaller boys' buns together. Emilio was 22 during filming and is 63 today. He came from one of Hollywood's most famous families, the son of Martin Sheen and the older brother of Charlie Sheen, but he deliberately kept the Estevez surname rather than ride the family name. After Breakfast Club, he became one of the defining faces of the Brat Pack through St. Elmo's Fire, Young Guns, and Stakeout, and then took on the role most kids of a certain age associate with him above all others, Coach Gordon Bombay in the Mighty Ducks trilogy. He was briefly engaged to Demi Moore in the late 1980s, then married singer Paula Abdul in 1992 before divorcing in 1994. He has 2 children, Taylor and Paloma, from a previous relationship with model Carrie Sally. He reprised Bombay in 2021 for the Disney Plus series The Mighty Ducks, Game Changers, though he did not return for the 2nd season due to a contract dispute. In 2025, he made a rare public appearance at a Breakfast Club cast reunion, his first official one in decades, telling the room he'd skipped his own high school reunions and felt this was the one he finally needed to attend. Number 4. Anthony Michael Hall as Brian Johnson. The brain, the academic, the kid carrying a flare gun in his locker because his GPA had a small dip. Anthony Michael was just 16 when this film shot, and he'd already worked with John Hughes on National Lampoon's Vacation 2 years earlier as Rusty Griswold. He's 58 today. The same year Breakfast Club came out, he joined Saturday Night Live as the youngest cast member in the show's history, a 1-season stint alongside Robert Downey Jr. and Joan Cusack. He then made a deliberate effort to step away from the geek roles that had defined his teenage years, taking on parts in Edward Scissorhands and later starring in The Dead Zone on USA Network. He's been on a real career resurgence the last few years, with a main role as Zachary Beck in the 3rd season of Amazon's Reacher and a guest spot on Netflix's Wednesday. He married Lucia Oscarova in 2020, and the couple welcomed their first child, a son, in June 2023. He also runs his own production company, Manhattan Films, and was active in both the SNL 50th anniversary celebration and the Breakfast Club 40th anniversary events in 2025. Number 5. Ally Sheedy as Allison Reynolds. The Basket Case. The strange one in the corner? The girl whose entire emotional arc happens before she ever really speaks. Ally was 21 during production and is 63 today. She came into the film already a working actress, having debuted in Bad Boys with Sean Penn in 1983 and starred opposite Matthew Broderick in War Games that same year. She'd also published a children's book called She Was Nice to Mice at age 12, which became a bestseller. After the Brat Pack era cooled, she found her way to independent film, winning the Independent Spirit Award for Best Female Lead for her performance in High Art in 1998. She married actor David Lansbury in 1992, and they had a daughter, Rebecca, before divorcing in 2008. Rebecca came out as transgender in 2019, and Ally has been a vocal advocate for LGBTQ rights in the years since. She had a recurring role on the Freeform series Single Drunk Female through 2023 and continues to teach acting alongside her ongoing screen work. Among the original 5, she has consistently been the most willing to revisit and reflect on the film publicly, including showing up for the cast reunion in 2025. Number 6. Paul Gleason as Principal Richard Vernon. The detention supervisor, the bull, the man whose entire job in this movie was to make 5 teenagers' Saturday completely miserable. Paul was 45 during production and brought a level of menace and frustration to the role that elevated what could have been a simple antagonist into something more complicated. Before acting, he'd been a serious baseball player, signing a minor league contract with the Cleveland Indians and even playing college football alongside Burt Reynolds at Florida State. He went on to study at the Actors Studio under Lee Strasberg in New York and built a long character actor career across more than 60 films, with major roles in Trading Places, Die Hard, and a self-spoofing return as a Principal Vernon character in Not Another Teen Movie in 2001. He passed away on May 27, 2006, at age 67 from mesothelioma, a cancer linked to asbestos exposure he most likely encountered as a teenager helping his father on construction jobs. He would have been 87 in 2026. Number 7. John Kapelos as Carl Reed, the janitor. The eyes and ears of the institution, the man with the broom and the perfect comeback when Bender mocks him for his profession. John was 28 during filming and is 70 today. He came to the film through the Second City Chicago, the legendary improv company, and was already a regular in John Hughes's orbit, having appeared in 16 Candles as the oily bohunk Dino and going on to appear in Weird Science as well. After the Hughes years, he built one of the longer and more steady character actor careers of anyone in this cast, with a major role as Detective Don Shanka in the Canadian vampire detective series Forever Night, a part in Guillermo del Toro's Oscar-winning The Shape of Water, and recurring roles in Big Sky and The Umbrella Academy. He keeps a public-facing presence through fan conventions and the personalized video service Cameo, where he's regularly asked to recreate Carl's monologue about being the eyes and ears of the school. The Breakfast Club turned 40 in 2025, and for the first time since the film's release, the 5 principal teenagers actually got back together officially at a fan convention in Chicago. Whatever the original detention sentence was supposed to teach those kids, the movie itself has clearly kept earning new credit decade after decade, and the people who made it are still here, still working, still showing up.